Hello, everybody. We are live and we are waiting for the speakers. If you guys can let me know if everything is okay, because we've had some technical difficulties and I just want to make sure that all the speakers can hop on as a speaker. So if you can please turn your camera on and your mic on so I can see you here in the screen, that would be awesome. Thank you very much, Noah.
Hi, can you hear me clearly?
Yes, indeed.
Awesome.
And Eric as well, great. And we'll just wait for, we have a good amount of speakers today, which is pretty cool. And we're very excited about this event and to learn more about, the community in Africa. While we wait for all the speakers to hop on, I'll just give a brief intro about BAF, the Blockchain Acceleration Foundation. We are a 501c3 nonprofit based in California. We focus on education. We run these events, but we also start accredited blockchain courses at universities. In a year and a half, we started 3, and we're going for a 4th one this October at UC Davis. We're pretty excited about that. We also work on projects with students. We facilitate events like this. We used to organize live conferences when we were able to meet in person, but since we're all locked at home and forced to live in this virtual world now, this is what we do. But it's pretty exciting because we have the opportunity, to connect with other communities abroad. And again, we're very excited about this event. I would like to introduce Lee from Coin News Extra, who's going to be the moderator. Lee, if you can please hop in as a speaker, that would be awesome. So we can see you. He was on before, so he should. Also, Nathaniel, if you can hop in.
Everybody, Cameron here, also work with BAF. Just to be clear, press the camera and mic on to hop in. So if everyone can leave off, how's it going? I see you there. Can you make sure to press camera and mic on? Same thing goes for Nathaniel.
And they're all in the chat. I can see both Nathaniel and Lee.
I guess while we wait, we'd love to hear a little bit more about what Noah and Eric do. So if you don't mind introducing yourselves pretty quickly and just telling us sort of on, that'd be great.
Cool. Maybe just a quick intro. My name is Noah. I lead the technology business at Savannah, or more popularly known as Crypto Savannah. We are a blockchain business based in Uganda, in East Africa. And yeah, so our projects span both public and private sector and development, the development community, and so we have projects that we're doing in a number of these areas. We do projects along our product suite, which is based on 6 pillars: identity and KYC, decentralized finance, supply chain and supply chain provenance, tokenization and digital assets, artificial intelligence and machine learning, and insights and big data. So the reason we have all these products is because blockchain doesn't work in isolation. It works together with other technologies to deliver value to whatever business or government entity. And so that is basically what we do, and I'll be glad to get into the details later in the call.
Cool. Thanks now for sharing. Next.
Right, thank you. My name is Eric Anand. I'm currently based in Nigeria, Abuja. I'm Ghanaian by birth. Currently, I myself and like minds are working on different projects. Currently, one of them is Qubitex. So Qubitex focus leveraging on the blockchain as a tool to build services in the area of remittances, in the area of wallets, and some another thing. We've been on this for 2 years, currently piloting Nigeria and Ghana using our decentralized tool to do remittances, leveraging on the blockchain without the FX. And also, I'm also involved with a blockchain foundation called the Bantu, but that's very much private now. So what I will focus on is the Qubitex project, and I've also involved myself in several educational program in Nigeria, Ghana, Kenya. I've been in Uganda. I met Mr. Noah last year on the major conference called the African Blockchain Conference in Uganda last year, July. So I love the blockchain, and I've taught about 20 African countries the last 3 years, trying to educate people about blockchain, why Africa need blockchain, why we need it at this time, why it is important Africa must adopt, not just consume. So basically, that's all about me, and I believe we go in detail. Thank you.
Awesome, thanks a lot, Eric. Nathaniel, would you mind introducing yourself?
Hey guys, great being here. So my name is Nathaniel Luz from Nigeria. I'm the head for Dash in Nigeria and quite a couple of other countries in Africa. So what I'm most interested in this space is beyond the whole hype, beyond the whole clamor for Moon and Lambos, what are the actual use cases of cryptocurrency? I mean, what are the actual use cases? Why are we here? What's the ideology backing us? So I'm more focused on payments and remittances, that I'm using crypto basically in your everyday life. So that's basically what I'll be talking about today.
Thank you very much. We're still waiting on Lee, but he's having some troubles. But I mean, I already have some questions for you guys. So in the meantime, we can. I can just ask the first question, and if Lee is able to hop in later, he can take over. Starting with Noah, and I mean this generally for all of you guys. Since we are as BAF, we are very focused on education. I would like to know from you guys, what are the active steps that you're taking, to educate the African community about blockchain? Eric, you mentioned that huge conference, which is great to hear. And, I'm wondering also in these times during lockdown, what are the steps, what are the actions that you guys are taking to educate the greater community? Maybe, Noah, we can start from you.
Okay, thanks for the question. I think education was, as Crypto Savannah at least, education was our first big step, and getting the right education to the right people. Traditionally, crypto has suffered a reputation problem because it was, at least in Uganda for a couple of months or years ago, there was this whole scam. Is it a scam? Is it not? Get rich quick schemes. And so our tool to address that misconception was education. And that was one of the main reasons why we set up the Africa Blockchain Conference in 2018, which was the largest of its kind on the continent. And we followed that up in 2019, as Eric had mentioned, trying to demonstrate not only the value in blockchain and in crypto, but to talk about, as Nathaniel mentioned, the actual use cases, how these are being used on the continent. And so one of the key things was to bridge that gap, is to get people talking, to get them to understand the actual, the use case, and that comes through education. We, in 2018, partnered with IBM and Hyperledger to teach about 200, a first cohort of 200 developers. That was right after the conference in 2018. We also then subsequently partnered with Consensus to train about 12 people on blockchain development. And then we also partnered with Cardano to train about 4 ladies in Ethiopia on the Cardano platform. And so our idea was to get Africans starting to build, to get the tools into the hands of Africans, so that they're not just using these tools, as Nathaniel mentioned and as Eric mentioned. It's not just using them, but then we can now start building solutions that best meet our needs. And so it is on that basis that Crypto Savannah has been aggressively promoting the education of blockchain. So we started off on the general blockchain 101, talking to different companies, talking to different government organizations, getting them to understand the use case and how they can make sense out of blockchain, but then also taking it deeper by training developers and allowing them to start tinkering with blockchain, building solutions on blockchain. That then gets them the drive to see the particular value that blockchain can bring. And so that's a small history about how Crypto Savannah has been.
That's plenty of it. That's great to hear, especially training ladies on Cardano's platform. That's great. Eric, what about you? What are the active steps that you guys have taken?
Well, it's interesting to get to listen to Mr. Noah. I have been in Nigeria for 5 years. The very first time I heard of blockchain was 2016. Somewhere in April. Like he said, I can say without fear, without any anxiety or any should have doubt. Nathaniel can also come in. Nigeria is an epicenter of cryptocurrency today. If you go on the internet, Nigeria ranked number one for Bitcoin search. How did it all happen? It all happened through Ponzi schemes. So my very first introduction to blockchain was a project called OneCoin in Nigeria in 2016. It went viral everywhere. Everybody OneCoin. And there was another one called MMM, okay? And millions of people invested on that platform. And you could use Bitcoin as a means of payment. And people's fingers got bent, and then you mention Bitcoin or blockchain. I'm not interested. It's a scam. So education is very powerful tool, because the way you are introduced to something would give you certain psychological effects. And like it said, what you see go further than what you hear. So people felt it. And today, Nigeria, between 2016, 2017, blockchain was like a scam. But people like Nathaniel and Co. started with conferences, education, and to kind of bring down the fact that, look, the blockchain is a tool. So let's go back to the early days of internet. When internet started, people felt internet was some human being on a planet somewhere. There was no browser, there was nothing. But over the years, people used the internet. The internet didn't change the world. Internet was just a tool. I can have a gun. I can use the gun as a tool for humanity. I can also use the gun as a tool to destroy. So internet came as a tool, but people sat down like Bill Gates, the Zuckerbergs, Larry Pages and Co. use the internet as a tool to develop solutions for humanity. Today, you don't even care how the internet works. All you care is that you take your phone and you're making call. So blockchain is the same thing. For me, I see blockchain as a tool that in the next 10 years, people don't care what is the technology behind whatever you are doing. All they care is that they want to send $1 to Uganda, and it is done by a way of sending SMS. It is done by just a way of making a call. But we will not get there if we don't all involve in education. So for me, one of the things I did in 2016 after I was banned was, look, let me read. I don't want to be an African where I lost on the early stages of internet, email, e-commerce, mobile phone, and social media. I want to be an African where I can be able to be part of value building, adding legacy to our continent. Our continent is ripe. We have the youngest population in the world. We have the most agile, most active, smart people. The only way we can do that is through education. So I started using my own resources to travel to Zimbabwe, Kenya. I've been to Uganda more than 5 times. I've been to Rwanda, Tanzania, Ghana, my country, Nigeria. I've traveled to about 10 different states in Nigeria. I'm not from here, but all in a quest to educate people that, look, this is the future. We cannot run away from it. I've met banks. I've done education to banks, about 7 banks in Nigeria, different government institutions. I've been to the National Assembly of Nigeria. I've done a presentation. And today, I'm happy that what we started 2017 is yielding fruits. And many banks today in Nigeria are beginning to adopt. Like my company, when we started 2 years ago, no bank was ready to open an account for us. But today, they are all chasing us. They want to open an account for us. So for me, I see that education has really helped, and Africans are really taking a center stage, and in fact a pioneering stage. And I believe that Africans will really control and change the dynamics and then our narrative, where we can use the blockchain to do a lot of things for our economy and our social welfare. Thank you.
I love that, and I agree with you. I mean, I think there's a lot of use cases in Africa, and going into usability, you know, and adoption, Dash is very, you know, is on it worldwide. So I'm curious, Nathaniel, how are you guys building the Dash community in Africa? And you know, if you can just, you know, explain us where you're working on your latest projects. Nathaniel, can you hear us? Hello. He's frozen.
Yeah, he's frozen.
He's frozen, right?
Yeah.
Or he's asleep. No, I think he's frozen. Yeah. So, follow-up question. Noah, you touched on government. You said, like, you know, you partner with, you know, all these great companies, Consensus, Cardano, IBM. But I'm curious on the government side in Africa, how is blockchain received? Because, you know, going back to all the scams and the ICO booms and, you know, all the bad fame that, you know, crypto had, I'm wondering what is the institutional approach and the institutional feeling that the African government has. Maybe now we can start with you, and then Eric, you can add on that.
Okay, so our work in the blockchain space goes back to, I think, 2016, 2017, where we had started out, you know, we built an exchange, Binosu.com, to be an on-ramp to crypto directly from Uganda shillings. Because one of the biggest challenges we faced is that we needed to first buy dollars, then from dollars to crypto. And we felt that there was a lot of friction then, and that was a unique opportunity we wanted to take advantage of, so that you can have a direct on-ramp. Now, I bring that into context because we needed to engage the government, and, you know, around particular permissioning and particular licensing around the use of crypto. And so we around that time, the government was very antagonistic towards crypto. I remember in 2016, actually 2017. The Kenyan government was about to ban, you know, the use of Bitcoin, and the Uganda government was closely, about to make the same decision. So it's at that point we took it upon ourselves to actively engage, the government and educate them on the benefits of not only crypto but also the blockchain. And it is through those efforts that we actually hosted the Africa Blockchain Conference in partnership with the Ugandan government. And that was their foray. And remember, even the central bank was at that conference in 2018.
Nice.
And so that also helped us, you know, demystify what this blockchain is. So one of the things that we found that worked in our favor was that we found curious, willing, you know, people on the other side of the table who wanted to understand more. Of course, there was a noise about crypto and the scams, but then we, you know, strategically focused on other benefits that blockchain could bring to government and efficiencies that they could experience. So much so to the point at which we are right. So
go ahead, Nathaniel.
Right now.
Yeah, I'm back.
Yeah, you're welcome back, Nathaniel.
Yeah.
Sorry, no, keep going.
Yeah, so we're now in a space that the different government entities have embraced blockchain, and some of them are even, you know, going through procurement processes to have, many of them have pilot projects running. Others now are going towards making that step towards a commercial deployment of blockchain, all through, you know, just being able to understand. So the experience, at least in Uganda, has been very positive because of the groundwork that has been done. And that second point to help in that groundwork is that we came together as businesses in blockchain, as companies that are dealing in crypto, and formed the Uganda Blockchain Association. So the Blockchain Association of Uganda became our concerted voice in lobbying for, you know, ways in which these technologies can be used with not only within the government but also within the economy, the greater economy of Uganda. So that's also something that helped. Coming together as a formal entity of peer organizations, all of which, some are exchanges, others are other types of businesses in the crypto space. So just coming under that one umbrella showed that there's a formal side that the government can engage. So you're not engaging individual companies, but also engaging a community of people that are working together for to get the technology out there. And so that has been our experience here in Uganda.
Nice. Well, since Natalia has just joined, Natalia, I asked you a question before, but you were frozen. So we were touching on usability, adoption, and Dash has been very active worldwide on that side. So I'm wondering, if you can just elaborate a little bit on, what you guys are working on. What are your latest projects? We're curious about that.
Okay, thanks for the opportunity. Sorry, my internet just dropped up. I mean, I don't know why. But I think we need to go back to the Bitcoin white paper. I mean, a peer-to-peer electronic cash system. Is Bitcoin currently fulfilling that? I strongly believe that we've gotten to the stage in which lots of people have confused the reasons why we're here. The primary reason we're here is to be able to create a system of value for me to be able to hold my money in such a way that no government can come and rob me of my money tomorrow. Okay, so Eric has been in Nigeria and he will tell you that in the last 3 months, our Naira has been devalued, our currency, by 33%. I mean, in just 3 months. And that's the purpose we actually have crypto, so that I can keep my wealth in a place that's beyond the reach of the government. So you asked about education. Like, I've been on this field across a couple of African countries since 2017, doing underground education through free academies, videos in English and pidgin English and that kind of a thing. But along the line, I found out that we're only marketing to the same group of people. So the same group of people that attend my webinar today will attend your webinar tomorrow. But then it seems like we've excluded a whole lot of non-tech people because our language is ununderstandable for them. When we speak blockchain, hard fork, soft fork, they're like, what the hell are you talking about? So I decided to take a step forward to create a book in everyday English, to write a book in everyday English, which is titled Digital is the Cash. We currently have it in English, French, German, and Spanish. And the book is all for free. I mean, we're giving out all of them as free copies. And we've noticed that this has received a lot of positive accolades from the traditional fintech, banking, and finance guys, because a lot of people have promoted crypto and blockchain as something that is going to destroy the existing banking system as a new world on its own. I for one, disagree. Banks will still be in existence in the next 100 years. It's just that cryptocurrency is going to do to banks what telecommunications did to the post office. It's not going to entirely replace it. It's only going to relegate its relevance. You understand? So when I reach out to those people, those non-crypto, non-tech people, and they're like, oh, wow, I try to let them know that cryptocurrency is just another evolution in money. So you cannot stop it. You just have to find the best way to plug into it. So we do events and a lot of things. And something very amazing, like I said initially, is both Eric and Noah on this call have been saying use cases. We have to work on use cases. And that's very, very true. So the question is, what is the first use case of cryptocurrency? What is the first use case of the blockchain technology? I mean, we can get it from the title of the Bitcoin white paper, a peer-to-peer electronic cash system. That means the first use case of crypto and blockchain is for payments and remittances. So, for those in Nigeria, a couple of our banks have already stopped all dollar payments, while some banks were very lenient and merciful on us to cap our dollar allowance at $100 in a month. So what that means is I have to pay for, I have to pay for my Amazon Prime, I have to pay for my G Suite, my web hosting, for my online courses, and you're capping me at $100 a month, and this is my money. And that's a major problem we're having. So for us to Dash Nigeria and for Dash all over the world, all Dash teams all over the world, we're working to create the infrastructure for payments, the infrastructure for remittances, the infrastructure for everyday use of cryptocurrency. Thank you.
That's great. And since Nathaniel, you touched on, easy to use, like people getting. I'm wondering, Eric, what are the solutions that you guys at QBitX are providing? So you guys provide like ready to go, easy to use solution. So I'm wondering if you can elaborate a little bit on that, and how are you giving access to the majority to crypto?
Oh, thank you. Like Nathaniel said, for me, I'm not a technical guy. I'm an entrepreneur. I'm a fascinating entrepreneur, and I see opportunities. The very first time I saw blockchain, I told myself that the major challenges facing Africa is solved. Like Nathaniel said, the first blockchain or Bitcoin white paper says peer-to-peer electronic payment, which means today, if I want to travel from Nigeria to Ghana, first of all, I need to look for dollar, change my naira to dollar, travel to Ghana, change the dollar back to cedis. So look at the challenge. You buy dollar here. I'm in Africa for crying out loud. I'm not in America. I don't produce dollar here. But unfortunately, our economic system is created such that you need to depend on the dollar to travel from Nigeria to Uganda to South Africa to Kenya to Tanzania to Ethiopia. For me, it really doesn't make economic sense. So Cubitas, what we have done, we have built an alternative remittance platform. Far from what is existing today, there are over 1,000 different remittance platforms. They all use the existing infrastructure, go through the SWIFT. The SWIFT also communicate to the dollar. So if I want to pay somebody in Uganda, I use a remittance platform that will charge me in dollars. So our platform we leverage on the blockchain, okay? And we have our own infrastructure, which we are going to unveil by next year. But now we are leveraging on the Stellar network, Stellar blockchain, which is also built for faster, cheaper remittances. So what we have done today, we have tokenized about 30 African country currencies. We have tokenized the Ugandan shillings. We have tokenized the Kenyan shillings. We have tokenized the Ghanaian cedis, the Nigerian naira, the Ethiopia bear. But what we are currently doing, we are piloting Nigeria and Ghana. So today on our platform called the KBX wallet, because the power of the blockchain, you can load your naira and it is tokenized into naira called NGNX. You can stay in Nigeria, send the NGNX to somebody in Ghana, and within a second, the person receives it in Ghanaian tokenized currency and withdraw to his bank account or his mobile money. 90% of Ghanaians today are using mobile money. And mind you, mobile money started from Africa, again, from East Africa. So, everything good come from the East. So I'm not surprised Uganda, through the Uganda Association, amazingly came strong. I give to them because their association was so strong, it's so strong, led by himself, Kwame Luganda, and co. And I give them that respect, took the bold step by involving government. Because look, blockchain is not going to take everybody away. The existing infrastructure is going nowhere. What it's going to do is going to augment the existing infrastructure. So we still need the banks, we still need the government, we still need the legacy system. Because blockchain itself will not do anything. It's just like the internet. Internet itself won't do anything if people didn't see the future to build solutions on top of it. Solutions that make sense to humanity. People must see a need to be part of something. You cannot push people away from what they know. The only way you can push people away from what they know is giving them alternative. So we believe education is paramount. But at the moment, what we are done, we're saying that, look, you don't need to travel within Africa using dollar. You don't need to send money to somebody within Africa using dollar. The blockchain gives us a power to be able to tokenize our own currencies. So, Cubitas, our platform, the KBS wallet, today we are piloting Nigeria and Ghana, and we have about 2,000 users so far that are doing amazing transactions. We see daily active users of, sending as minimum of $10. Imagine, there's no existing platform today that you can send as little as $10 to somebody in Ghana. It's not possible. But with the power of blockchain, you can send as little as $2 to somebody because the fee you are paying is less. So our hope is to reduce the global average fee of 8.9%. And Africa paid the highest in terms of remittances. As of 2019, Africans paid over $1.8 billion in fees for remittance companies like World Remit, Western Union, MoneyGram. Yes, according to the World Bank report, you can find it. Africa paid about 8.9%, and we paid about $1.8 billion in fees. Imagine we are able to reduce this thing about 70%. It means that average household who depend on remittance like $2, $5, $100 to pay their electricity bill, food, health, education, shelter. And Africans depend on remittances a lot. And we believe that remittances play a major role in Africa. And for us to be able to do it, we need to leverage the blockchain, provide instant remittance transfer to everybody so that people can be able to have access to financial inclusion. So that's what Kubitas is doing, leveraging on the blockchain, using education, because we say know it, have it, secure it. Know it means education. Have it means that it's on your hand. You have the power with the education that you have. Then you secure your own funds. You secure your own wealth by tokenizing your assets, not relying on the national currency, because like Nathaniel said, the last 90 days, the Naira has gone down about 37%. So if you really want to position yourself, then you think of digital assets by leveraging and then kind of having diversified wealth of portfolio. So basically that's what Kubitas is doing. And we believe that we will partner with several people like Dash, Crypto Savannah, and millions of Africa, because the space is big. There's no competition. I don't believe in competition. What I believe in collaboration, because competition actually crowd everybody out. But when you believe in competition, in collaboration, you're able to serve larger people out there, because there are millions of people who have access to financial services. 66% of Africans are unbanked, according to World Bank. So what are we doing to that 66% out there? So instead of thinking about competition, why don't we collaborate so that we can be able to reach millions of people who desperately need financial services? And we can use the blockchain as a tool to get to these people. Thank you.
I love that. And I agree. Jack Dorsey says that the future of Bitcoin is in Africa. So what you just described is are fundamental issues. Here in America, we talk about crypto, we talk about blockchain, but, the financial infrastructure as it is works. It's not perfect, but works. What you just described is a major problem. So going back actually to the institutional part, and maybe Noah, you can touch on this. I'm wondering what is is the African Central Bank looking at like digital currencies or cryptocurrencies in general? Are they looking to to test a pilot on that? If you can elaborate on that.
Okay, I can't speak too much for them. What I can do is that personally, I serve on a national task force that's of the Fourth Industrial Revolution. So this committee or this task force was formed by the head of state to look into these emerging technologies and see how the country can take best use of these technologies moving forward for development. And so we're looking into blockchain, we're looking into crypto, we're looking into AI, we're looking into basically all the technologies that make up the Fourth Industrial Revolution. Now, from that perspective, one of the things that we are encouraging, not only our government, but many other entities, is to look keenly into the efficiencies that can be attained by going blockchain. What I know is that our central banks are still a bit skeptical about crypto, but then their minds are changing. Like I gave you an example earlier. We were in the same economy where the central bank was nearly banning the use of crypto, to now a point in which entities like Binance. Now Binance, Binance's first fiat to crypto exchange was set up in Uganda. And they did this after getting a blessing from the Ministry of Finance and a no objection letter, because there's no regulations yet. And so we moved away from almost banning crypto to hosting the world's largest crypto exchange. That shows that there is a willingness, but it's still a long, it's a long play. It's not a sprint. It's a marathon. We do know that our central bank has a working group that's looking into the use of blockchain in improving banking, and some of the examples that Eric has talked about to improve efficiency of payments, to widen inclusion, financial inclusion across the board. We have also done, and so that is as far as I can speak concerning, especially the central banks embracing them. The private, the other in the banking sector. I mean, we have crypto businesses here in Uganda that have bank accounts, so banks are no longer as skeptical as they used to be in hosting bank accounts. So we have Binance has bank accounts. The other thing, Luna, and many other crypto exchanges. Our own crypto exchange, binusu.com, is also has bank accounts. So banks are comfortable dealing with crypto businesses, but in terms of allowing, classifying how some jurisdictions have done it, classifying crypto as either as a security or as a currency, that conversation is still going on. But there's also a conversation going on with our Capital Markets Authority, at least recognizing the crypto assets that they behave like securities, so security tokens. And that conversation is much more advanced than the currency conversation, because there are some outright tokens out there that behave as securities that fall within the purview and within the regulatory jurisdiction of our Capital Markets Authority, and they're building the capacity. They have a sandbox already happening, and they're building their capacity to understand these technologies better, so that they can better regulate them to protect the customer. Because at the end of the day, regulation is about protecting the customer. We, as an association, have had positive engagements with the central bank. We co-hosted a public engagement on regulating the crypto industry, and so there are draft regulations that are being drafted right now, and we as the association played a key role in answering and in inputs into those draft regulations. And so it's a collaborative effort, which is good, because if we just leave it on to the bankers to make the decisions, then they'll prefer the status quo. Like Eric has said, as mentioned, the banking industry goes back millennia. I mean, hundreds of years, and what we are seeing now has been 100 years in making. So it's not, they're not going to change their mind overnight in the way they bank, in the way they transact. There are so many vested interests inbuilt into the economy, into the very way in which we transact with money. And so the crypto industry is redefining what money looks like in this digital age. And so that has to we do not only have to educate people on this new thing. A key component of education is unlearning. The things that you learn are good, but it's even more important to unlearn certain things that are holding you back from embracing these new things. And so we are also realizing, after these many years of engaging some of these organizations, that we also have to be patient enough to allow them to unlearn some of these things. Not too patient, because technology change is not going to wait for everyone, but then just to give them the opportunity to unlearn some of these things. When you're looking at, because what crypto gives you the opportunity is to have a sound money. I'm a student of Professor Safedin Amus in his book, The Bitcoin Standard, and he makes a very strong case as to why Bitcoin is sound money, as opposed to credit-based money, where we just simply print $2 trillion unbacked by any sort of value, and transferring that debt to our children and our children's children, because that's, and then think about someone like Eric, who is seated in Nigeria, who has his value held in dollars, and the US, the owner of these dollars, has printed $2 trillion worth of currency. That immediately devalues his saving, even if he's trying to host it in a reserve currency. And so now your value that you're experiencing in a country totally unrelated to the US is being defined by monetary policy across oceans. And so that's a system that wasn't created yesterday. It was created, hundreds of years ago. And so for us to be able to undo that and go with the populace, because again, we cannot remain in our fanboy niche. As Nathaniel mentioned, we keep following each other. We go to each other's webinars, conferences, and we cannot keep drinking our own Kool-Aid. We need to be able to share this in relatable to the people, at the bottom of the pyramid. And those people only understand value. They only understand paper value because that's what they have been given. We who have knowledge and exposure for these new technologies have to translate that value and demonstrate it to them. That's why Nathaniel was talking about use cases. It comes in the form of remittance. It comes in the form of holding value. Your whole work life, everyone who's watching is defined by how you value money. And so if that money is short-term in its value, you're not going to save. So you can't talk about liberating Africans if they can't save money and invest it, because the very money that they are trusting to hold value cannot hold value if it's devaluing at 30% in just a few weeks. You cannot trust that money. And because you can't trust that money, you're going to live hand to mouth. So the way, the value that we put into our currency is also embedded in the way we treat work, in the way we treat savings and investments. In the Western world, they have had currencies that have been stable for decades, okay, and even more. Stable, I'm using it very loosely here, but then you cannot compare it. And so that's why you find that in the Western culture, it's easy to save for investment, because it's easy for the average person to invest in stocks and bonds and whatever, because they understand the long-term value of money. Their money does not, it holds its value for a long term. So that behavior is fed by the nature of its money. So we in Africa are trying to introduce a new way that can give Africans a long-term holding asset that can then, it can then trigger that saving and investment culture that will bring Africans out of poverty. So that's my view.
That's great to hear, and I actually have a follow-up question to that, because we're still talking here about creating everything, but we're talking about creating digital value. So the main assumption about creating digital value is having access to stable internet, smartphones, and being able, if you hold crypto, you have it on your phone, you want to spend it right away. So maybe Nathaniel or Eric, can you guys comment about yes, crypto is there, but what is the state of the underlying in terms of internet and smartphone adoption in Africa? Do you see that as a barrier for mass adoption?
I
Nathaniel,
actually think, I actually think that we are quite ahead of the adoption curve. If we want to look at previous technologies like electricity, the telephone, the internet, even the car, the automobiles, I think we are quite ahead. And thanks to the 2017 bull run and the mini bull runs we've had, it kind of puts us ahead. So we are way, way ahead, sincerely. We're way ahead. I mean, just today in Dash, we launched a partnership with CoinProfile. Their website is coinprofile.co. And what they do is they allow you to send Bitcoin or Dash directly to a Nigerian local bank account. So you are there in the US, I'm here in Nigeria, you want to send me some money. Let's say I don't even understand crypto, I don't have a wallet, and I don't want to understand what it's about. You ask for my bank details, you go on CoinProfile, you impute my bank details, you send them either Dash or Bitcoin, and they immediately give me fiat. I mean, we have this kind of infrastructures already. So I think that adoption is a marathon. It's not a sprint. It's what I've been saying since 2017, and I'm still saying it right here. Adoption is a marathon. I mean, when we had a mobile phones, I'm having this call on my mobile device. We didn't have a mobile device that could do this. I mean, the first set of computers, I could walk into it, like it's basically taller than I am. So we are way ahead of the adoption curve. But I think that we need to keep working on how to simplify the adoption. That's what I just think. We have the infrastructures, but we have to think for the guy on the streets. And like you said, the guys without the smartphones, the guys without the internet. At Dash, we have something called the Dash Text. It's been up in Venezuela, LATAM, US, and we'll be launching it in Nigeria sometime this year. What it means is I can send Dash as an SMS to any form of mobile device. Hold on, I need to get my video resolved. Eric, please just come up. I'll come back.
All right, so it's quite interesting what Nathan picked it from. Like he said, it's a marathon. It's not a destination, right? It's a journey. And if you look at the technological curve, we have the early adopters or the innovator, the early adopters, the early majority, the late majority, and the laggers. Africa has almost always played the laggers, but thanks be to innovations like today, voice over internet protocol, social media, Africans are more ahead in terms of curiosity. this is a continent that has majority, about 77% of the population of Africa are young people below the ages of 50, 18 to 35. We are in the majority, meaning that these young people are informative. They are seeking for information. These young people are desperately looking for jobs. These young people are desperately looking for alternative way of trying to survive. You know, when you are desperate, you have nothing. The next thing is, how do I survive? So for me, I see blockchain. We are actually on 1% of blockchain. Blockchain has only activated the first part of it. Like you said, the first Bitcoin white paper gave the world a certain clue of what the future of the world will be. The first clue was payment, money, remittance, payment, or digital currency, where you know that your wealth can be really stored in terms of digital gold. But have you asked yourself that in the next 5 years, what can we be possibly using the blockchain to do aside anything financial? Have we thought about, be able to communicate to somebody in the in US, State Department, where files can be shared, real-time files, not just sending you WhatsApp, but for example, procurement. So if the government of Ghana, for example, want to procure ammunition, everything's on the blockchain. It's decentralized. So I am looking at blockchain reducing Africa. We are still about 200 years behind in terms of development, in terms of infrastructure, in terms of so many things. So blockchain, one of the key area for me, I look to see blockchain being used is in the area of procurement. If we can reduce the dark side of procurement in Africa, it means that we'll be able to save at least 50% of money that are going to private pockets. So we can channel these resources into real organic areas of need. We can be able to build roads that lead to the farm, because we need to begin to also think food security. To have food security, the access to the farm must be well. In terms of post-harvest infrastructure things. So I see the blockchain to do more things. But now everybody's happy about the finance because people love money. You love money. I love money. Everybody loves money. So money solves a lot of things. So everybody is, following the bandwagon. But I don't see the financial tool of the blockchain as a major disruption. I want to see the blockchain do more on procurement, such that the can have value for his farm inputs. The farmer in the village can be able to farm all year round, knowing that he can have access to the market without destroying his food input. And that government is to adopt blockchain. One of the key areas to look out for is procurement. Able to put all procurement matters on a blockchain. Open, trust, decentralized. Nobody can screw anybody. And we all know that our money, our taxes are being put to good use, because Africans must develop our continent. Nobody will develop Africa for us. And I see blockchain to kind of providing that kind of tool, that comfort for me to be able to pay tax. Because when people know that their tax will be put in good use, they will pay tax. The reason why people are not paying tax in Africa is that they know that their tax is not going to be used. But blockchain will provide us that trust, level of trust, so that we can be able to develop our continent. And I believe blockchain will do that for us, for Africa to actually have massive infrastructure development the next 2 decades ahead of us. And for me, blockchain will do that for us. And I don't just get so excited about the financial part of it. The small area the blockchain can solve in terms of.
Oh, I love that.
Yeah.
No, I love that, and I love the passion. And actually, Modibe just joined us. Modibe was part of the panel, and I think there's been some technical difficulties so far. So, I would give room to him to, introduce himself and maybe talk a little more about what he's working on. Hey, Modibe.
Hey, how are you?
Great. How about you?
I'm right. It's good to finally see the think tanks here. All these guys are phenomenal and doing well in their respective spaces. I actually follow the things that you guys do, and so it's finally a time for us to meet. And we had some challenges here and there, but it's okay. I've seen that the platform is quite new, it's still in beta, but that's how we grow. Make mistakes, challenges here and there, and that's how we grow. So I've had some of the discussions from Nathaniel as well as Eric and Noah, but briefly, but what I've picked from them, it's that in the end, people wanna do what they need to do without necessarily having to worry about the technicalities of without necessarily having to worry about the technicalities of this is built on cryptography, this is built on the blockchain. In the end, people want to be able to send money, people want to be able to store their money safely, people want to be able to make cross-border payments. Nathaniel spoke of a situation whereby their monthly limit is kept to $100, which is, for a young person who is trying to grow themselves and do something out of their lives, that is pretty ridiculous. But hey, they are the banks, they're the government, they can do what they want to do because they've got the control. And that brings me to what we do as Paxful. So Paxful, it's a leading peer-to-peer marketplace. We are leading in that sphere. And what we do, we basically focus on the real use cases of Bitcoin. Obviously, there's a lot of cryptocurrencies which people can buy out there, take part in, but our focus is more on things which people can use and do on a daily basis, stuff such as remittance, which is big in Africa. And someone mentioned that you'd pay something like 17% or 20% on remittance, which is, it's basically, if you compound that to a year, it's a lot of money. It's a lot of money that we cannot afford to keep losing towards people who are, I think I would say greedy. So remittance is one of the real use cases on our platform, whereby people in the diaspora send money back home through Bitcoin, you buy Bitcoin, or you buy a gift card, redeem the gift card on Paxful, quickly move the Bitcoins into your wallet to that of your friend or family, let's say in Nigeria, and the person easily sells the Bitcoin in exchange of the local currency. It could be the Naira or the Rand or the Kenyan shilling or Ghanaian cedi. And, it's as simple as that. So in that way, you don't pay 10% or 17% in fees. You can actually make a profit doing that. Another one is e-commerce. It's hard to do business when you don't have the proper banking accounts which will allow you to get integrated with the traditional payment gateways. So you can easily use Bitcoin for accepting online orders and easily convert that on the peer-to-peer marketplace. And the good thing is that you do that at a profit. And then another one is, that in Africa, a lot of countries are experiencing challenges in terms of their currency. You speak of the Naira being devalued. You look at the Zim dollar. The challenges are quite vast. So I think it takes me back to the point that people in the end will not care about the sophistication of the technology that is being used. We use your Visa, your MasterCard. Nobody knows the background operation of that. What people want, I want to move my money from one point to the other. And if I can do that quickly, cheaply, and in a safe manner, that's all people want. So that it's a matter of wealth preservation, whereby we enable people to be able to, you can buy and store Bitcoins on Paxful. And we're going to be launching the stablecoin USDT, which will basically allow you to proof yourself against inflation on the platform. Anytime you want to cash that out, you can easily do that. But in brief, that's what we've been up to. And of course, our biggest market is in Africa, where Bitcoin is used for real use cases as compared to speculative purposes.
I love that because that's personally, that's why I first got into this world, because it's I think, as going back with what we were saying at the beginning, all that speculation and pump and dump schemes and ICO boom and whatnot in the beginning hurt the industry and the real potential. Up to us educators to rebuild that trust and point out that this technology can be used for real use cases. One last point, because we're running out of time, and I leave it open to you guys. Just, we touched on like payment, but what about other use cases? For example, I believe you guys are all seeing the boom that DeFi has been having. So I wonder, what are your thoughts on like, lending, borrowing, other ways of, using crypto, not just like for payments, but, to enhance this financial infrastructure. Just like, we have 5 minutes. We can extend it to a little later, but maybe a couple of minutes each. Now you can start, and then we can
Thanks. Yes, and if you remember my introduction when I talked about Savannah and our product suite, hinged on each of our products is blockchain, and because we believe blockchain brings a special, unique. And so there is DeFi definitely that is blowing up, and we have a number of use cases that we are actually deploying right now. I talked about an exchange. We have a payment platform that, again, that allows us to be able to have real-time settlement of retail payments, because that's another thing that many people don't realize is that, yes, when you swipe your Visa card at a supermarket, you can walk away with the goods, but the supermarket gets paid T plus 3-5 days, and that holds up a lot of capital, especially for a business that's in fast-moving consumer goods, because of that first word, fast. And so you find that there are a lot of capital is held there, and they don't have real-time value of their cash. So even if you push people to pay to cash, the merchants bear that burden quite a lot. And so we basically have developed a payment platform that takes away that stress, so you can get real-time value of a transaction. So meaning, if I go and pay using pay at a till, I get the supermarket gets real-time value that is immediately spendable. And so basically, even if and they don't need to touch crypto. So because we run an exchange, we can do a spot we can use crypto as rails to get real-time value. So that's also something else that we are doing. We've also developed a marketplace, allowing lend and borrow money meet each other, and so you make it competitive. And that's how we get rid of these lending rates that are exploitive for people who need money quickly. Here, it's an open market, it's transparent, powered by blockchain. So you who needs X amount of money, you have people who are lending to you, and it's competitive. So that brings the interest rates lower, reducing the cost of credit. So that's also something else we have built on the blockchain. And then there's also the other use cases outside DeFi, like identity. That's one of the hot things in which blockchain can unlock, being able to have a self-sovereign identity, and you are in control. The biggest business on the planet right now has to do with your identity and your KYC. That's why you have companies like Facebook and Google making all the money they have, because your information is sold to advertisers. Advertising is what makes the internet go around. And so we are, by taking back identity, you have control over how your data is used. And we have, we have a use case that we have worked together with in a telecommunication sector, working together with the regulator and the entire sector to be able to secure identities. Because in places like Uganda, as Eric had mentioned, mobile money is very popular. Uganda has a population of about 42 million. And half of whom are under 15. We're the youngest country in the world. And so, with half your population under 15, that means 21 million people. And that means the other 22 million people are adults, are over 15. And this is the statistic. We have over 23 million mobile money accounts. So you can argue every adult has a mobile money account. And so we're looking at above 90%, actually it's close to 100%. Of actively engaged, economically engaged people in Uganda have mobile money. So it is a huge, we turn over about, I think, $1 to $1.5 billion every month, just in turnover. But it is hinged on old technology. We want to bring that technology to the new age, where it's not SMS based, but rather hinged on trusted, open platforms like blockchain that are being able to be transparent. So That's also something else that the blockchain can bring in terms of value. And then also when you talk about digital assets, with the increased digitization, say for example, now in the COVID situation, we have seen a huge peak in the demand for digital services because people are locked at home. So there's a rise in the popularity of online marketplaces. There's a rise in the popularity of being able to deliver your value digitally. But then there's some value that is still inherently held in physical assets, and that needs to be digitized. Things like land titles, your education credentials, all these are important, but they need to be able to be represented in the digital realm. And so we have products that are able to tokenize or to digitize physical assets for representation and share and exchange of value in the digital space. And then also finally in the supply chain area, when you're talking about having goods provenance in the agricultural sector or in the pharmaceutical sector, one of the biggest challenges in Africa is fake drugs, and it's difficult to be able to trace drugs right down to the place and the time that they were manufactured. By putting this in the metadata on a blockchain, you're able to scan a drug and you can trace the hands that it has gone through all the way from the factory to the pharmacy. And that kind of transparency will almost 100% eliminate fake drugs or counterfeit drugs. If you do the same in the agricultural sector, supply chain transparency will allow us as Africans to be able to export our agricultural produce to sophisticated markets like Europe and the West, who have high standards of export, but also of information transparency. So that if you buy a pint of milk, if you buy some meat that has been exported from Africa, you can trace right down to the farm that grew that cow and what all the medicine that went into that cow, to the time that it has come to your plate. That kind of transparency then builds trust, which then allows us to export, and we depend less on aid and more on trade. So just that technology can open up a huge opportunity for us as a continent. And so these are some of the areas in which we have active projects. Again, we have gone beyond the hype. I personally predict that blockchain will stop being a buzzword, just like the internet stopped being a buzzword. It's now about value. You don't talk about internet this or internet that. It's, are you online? Are you connected? It's part of our daily vocabulary. No one stops to think that you need your phone needs an IP address to talk to a server somewhere. No one thinks about that. And so we need to, and that's because the internet has had time to prove itself and to prove its value. And so that's the maturity I see blockchain doing, even though it is a bit faster than the internet.
Yes,
we're going to stop moving blockchain this, that. It's about a technology of trust. Is your business trusted? Is your business transparent? Those will be the demands of businesses. Those will be the demands of corporate world and the business world in the next 3 to 5 years. That level of transparency, that level of trust is going to be needed if any two parties, whether business to business, whether business to customer, is going to happen. There has to be a high level of trust and transparency. And this blockchain is what is going to deliver it. And we believe we are seeing the shift and the transition from talking about POCs to actual products hitting to the market, delivering this value to customers. And so that is what we are doing as Savannah. We're all over the place. We can't do it alone. As Eric said, you need to be in partnerships, and we have worked with a number of people to be able to see this reality, because it's a big continent. Next to 1 billion people are coming from Africa. We need to prepare them. This is a time in which we can transition the continent to have a more stable systems that can accelerate us towards the future that we want.
Awesome. Thanks a lot, and for each one of the other speakers. Briefly comments as we're wrapping up. Maybe we can start with Daniel and then Eric and Modibe.
Okay.
Move to the next session.
Yeah, I want to say this. In as much as we focus a lot on payments and remittances, building the other aspects, like you guys talked about, Eric, Noah, healthcare, supply chain, they are very, very important. Okay, so this is my book, Digital is the Cash. I dropped the link to grab a free download on the chat, bit.ly/free-book. I dedicated the last chapter, chapter 6, to talking about applications of the blockchain technology. How could use it in governance, healthcare, supply chain, data storage, which is very, very important. You understand? Why do I have to leave most of my data in centralized servers? and so many of that. So I think it's something we really, really need to look at. And for DeFi, I think DeFi is part of the things that is really going to give us adoption. Though, of course, everything that has its positives has a negative. Though there is the hype and the likes. Hello, can somebody give me feedback that they can hear me very well?
Yeah.
Okay, okay.
Yes, we
Great.
can hear
In
you.
as much as there is the whole hype part of it, we must also look at what are the things that would stay. It's more like the 2017, 2018 ICO craze. We had the whole hype, projects raising funds and dying, but we also had the projects that are still surviving till date. I mean, and one of them is like Binance and so many, I mean, other projects like that. So I think it's time we get beyond the whole talk, and we just get to work. And I want to say a very big thank you to the organizers of this event for putting together this event. I mean, there are few events like these that gather people from different African countries. I want to say a big thank you. And if there's a way we could get a network after this event, maybe if you have a WhatsApp, Facebook, or Telegram group, I'd really appreciate that. So I
Yes.
could get to meet the speakers more and the participants. If you have a link to your group, just drop them on the comments so that we can all join your groups. Thank you very
Yes.
much.
And there's Dr. Solomon is asking, no, my lab is working on counterfeit medicines, blockchain remedy, and we like to connect with you. So probably you guys
That's
can
why we
connect
need a group.
in the networking.
Yeah.
Each one
Can
of
you
you
please
guys,
drop a link to your group?
if each one of you, you know, if you guys want to drop a link to your personal social media account or, you know, your company's account, do that in the chat.
Okay.
Out of time, I'm sorry. I would just like to give a out to Coin News Extra. They helped us putting this event together. Unfortunately, I believe there's been some sort of technical difficulty. Basically took over as a moderator. That was not supposed to be the plan. Lee was supposed to be the moderator. I them for putting this all together. With that said, I'm sorry, but it's already 6 a.m. here in the US, but we always try to keep this to just an hour long. But that's why we have the networking session, because, you know, we can all elaborate and expand and meet other people. Just briefly, I probably already in the networking session, how it works is there are this virtual table, double click with your left mouse and you can join a table. Be polite, don't interrupt if other people are talking whenever, you know, there's time to do so. And yeah, for the rest, enjoy. Noah, Eric, Modibe, it's been a pleasure being with you guys and meeting you. Thank you very much for doing this. And I'll see you in the networking session.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Bye.
Thank you.